462-9401. That's 440-462-9401. And also follow us on the web at skiteesapparel.com.
It's the smoked turkey ribs. It's the sauce. It's the service. Triple S, Smoky Sweet Soul. Are you looking for a quick bite to eat for lunch? Or maybe someone to provide food for your next get-together or meeting? Why don't you try Smoky Sweet Soul? Our award-winning cuisine is certain to hit the mark. Call us at 216-338-0518 for catering or to schedule the food truck to come to your job or special event. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, or at www.smokysweetsoul.com. That's SMOKYSWEETSOUL. Everybody loves it. Smoky Sweet Soul. Come hungry, leave happy.
You're listening to the Drip Podcast with Nick and Mars. Keep it locked.
All right, we're back with the Drip, and it's normal. As always, we always go over time because, conversation is just conversation. So, Cam brought up a question about family.
Okay.
Can family be toxic?
Heck yeah.
And if they are, do they get a pass because they're toxic?
Huh?
Or because they're related.
Because they're related.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's a big difference.
Yeah, they can be toxic.
I know you frowned your face up more, but it's so relevant. Because I feel like because we're related, right? Mm-hmm. You and I are sisters.
Okay. You are my sister.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Not blood.
My sister in Christ.
Okay, go ahead.
Because we're related, you tend to criticize me all the time. Mm-hmm. And it's very triggering for me. I feel when I talk to you, I just feel down and like you put me in the worst of moods. You're just negative all the time. You don't like anything that I do. Nothing I do is right. You're just very toxic for me.
Okay.
Right? But because we're sisters, I'm always told, that's your sister. Forget about what she's saying and how she makes you feel. That's your sister. You're supposed to love her and be there for her no matter what. Is that appropriate?
You are. To a certain extent, you are, because that is your sister. But you also have to choose the moments and times that you allow her into your space. Why would you, if I have a glass of pop and a glass of acid, why would you pick up the glass of acid and continue to drink it and it's going to kill you?
Right.
Drink up.
Why would you do that? Why would you have toxic people, whether you're family members, whether they are your mate? Mm-hmm. Why would you have them in your life to slowly kill you? Mm-hmm. You have to decide who you have in your space, especially when it's damaging to you emotionally and mentally.
Can we say the same if these individuals are parents?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you
and
need
you
to
hate to say it.
Right. Let them know.
You
I think you have to let them know.
You do.
Like, you have to let them know because some people really don't know. They just think that, I'm just telling you this information and I'm not trying to hurt you, even though it is.
I think down to the core, bona fide toxic people know that they're toxic.
Well, I would tell your butt.
Yeah.
Toxic.
You said in their core they know.
In their core
so they
know.
probably won't say it.
That's not
they
always
won't.
true. That's not
They
always true.
won't.
Some people believe that what they're doing is actually helpful.
Right.
You ever had someone tell you about somebody that they think you don't know that person, and their good intentions are to say, "Oh, you better watch out for them because they're
doing it in love."
Right. This person, she messed with so and so's husband, and you got to watch out for that.
Yeah.
And I'm doing this because I want you to know. But at the same time, it's gossiping.
Right.
So is it really helping? That's a toxic person at their core and don't know that they're toxic.
But then you need to tell them, explain,
But they feel like, I'll love you. If I don't tell you, girl, your husband's going to be.
Thank you for the information, but let me handle this on my own. Thank you.
Okay.
I appreciate you.
And I think there may be levels to toxic people. Because if I'm listening to you, you're talking about somebody who is always negative, always ridiculing you, always putting you down, and they're close to you. If I'm close to you and we're sisters, I definitely know what triggers you.
Right. So you're intentional.
So you're intentional about it. That's something different than somebody not really knowing if they're toxic or not.
Right.
That person you described, they're toxic, and they know
agree
it,
with
and
that.
they're intentional about it,
Yeah.
and you need to stay
Agreeable.
clear from them. I don't care who they are. But like Mar said, have the conversation. You know, you keep saying this, you do this, you do this. I don't appreciate it. It's hurtful to me. And when you have that conversation and they continue to do it, you have to decide to remove yourself.
Right. Got to make them aware first.
Yeah.
I think that's difficult. And again, this is for you. I know somebody in this situation right now. And I think it's difficult for him because you have other family members around you that are like, well, why are you treating them this way? Or why are you doing it? You know, that's just them. That's who they are. You can't, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to, again, tolerate it because they're family or because that's just how they are.
And they don't have excuses. They have dementia.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's just rough to listen to him go on and on about how demeaning this individual is, this family member is, how hurtful this person is being to him. And it kind of just has to take it because...
But you know, that could also be spun, meaning that for him, for every word that those people say about him, he could use that as fuel and motivation, because that means that they're that jealous, if you will, or they see that much potential in them that they feel like they got to say all these things to bring him down from where they see him. He's that powerful of a person.
Right.
He has so much going on for him right now and in the future. Every time that person sees him, they got to say something negative. They have to be like, you know what? You remember you failed when we was 12
Right,
and you
bringing up
skint your
old
knee
stuff.
and everybody saw you fall off your bike rather. All they're doing is pointing out, man, you winning, you shining.
But
I
I think-
want to shine
but
like you,
everybody
and I
can't
don't know
have-
how.
Everybody, they don't have that power. They sometimes
What
it's just
power?
The power to
use that as
accept
fuel.
it and use it. But
Well, they
A lot
can
of
get
people
it.
just-
They can get that power. When you point it out to him and you show him, like, listen, every time that person says something about you, do you realize they're saying to you, you are winning? If nothing else, use the most common, more recent vernacular. Haters hate those who are winning. If you don't have haters, you ain't winning.
I think it's hurtful because the haters are, are your family. And especially when you're climbing, you know, whatever your career ladder or whatever, you're glowing up, you know, making good moves or whatever in your life.
Right.
You want the support of the people that you love. You want the support of your family.
Right.
You want them to be in tune with what you're doing. But when they're giving you this hate that you would expect from somebody you don't know,
But we
like-
always know we pretty much all of us around the table are in business for ourselves, trying to start up businesses, and we know that the least support we get is from family.
most
facts,
definitely.
facts.
True.
And
True.
it is a
Unfortunately.
fact. And I think it has a lot to do with familiarity. I think it has a lot to do, and you know, you can't always say that people are jealous. It's just that, yeah, that's just Nick, or
You can
yeah,
count
that's
on
just
friends
Cam.
more than you can
Or
count
they
your
say
family.
stuff like, "Oh, that's cute, your little business." Or
Yeah.
your little.
Yeah.
Oh, that
Your
burns
I
me
hate
Yeah.
when people
up.
That-
minimalize what
business.
you're doing.
Yeah.
Oh, your little nonprofit. That's cool. Oh, like, whatever. Like,
Little man.
yeah. And it, like, don't minimalize my stuff.
It's the worst.
Please don't. You know, it's and when you're in process like that, it may be a little bit of jealousy. It may be that people just aren't interested. I mean, it could be a whole lot of things, but you think that family is not going to support. They just don't. They just don't. You might get 5 or 6, but that tribe, your entire,
Your village.
let me tell you, and it's probably a lot of them listening right now.
Sure.
I have a big family.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of cousins.
Same here.
Likewise.
I may be able to count 6 who listen to the show. I have,
Or who tell others about the show.
and they tell others about the show. I have very close female friends that I call sisters, and you couldn't get me. You can't tell me they're not my blood sisters,
That's
and they're not.
Right, 100%.
I'm not gonna tell you how many times they've listened to my show. They don't support.
Or you
and I'm
ask them
sorry
like-
if y'all get mad. That's just what it is. It's a
Listen.
conversation.
Right.
You're not going to get the support. And what burns me up is that I'm the one always present.
Yeah.
They ask
You don't
to
have
be
to
all
tell
in.
me to be
Supporting.
there. If you're having something, it's a nonverbal communication. I'm
Right.
there. But my oldest sister taught me a long time ago, everybody's not going to be like you. Everybody's not going to think like you. Everybody's not going to do what you do. Let people do them, and you continue to do you,
Right.
and don't let anybody hold you back. That's the mindset that I have to continue to carry, whether they're family or not. Family's just not going to support. And they're not even going to tell somebody else about your stuff.
Right.
You have a cross to bear that is no different than what was told we would all have to bear. And that is, Jesus dealt with the same thing. And he said himself, a prophet is not without honor except in his own town. And he could not do any great works in his own town. We've dealt with the same thing. Now, it doesn't mean that they're bad. It just means that they can't get over the fact that you are now who you are.
Right.
When you've arrived at a place where you can do things that they did not know or could not, they just didn't have the foresight. They saw potential and may have said, you're going to be great up until you was like 14, 15, 16, maybe at your graduation of high school. Then all of a sudden it started to wean off and you started to blossom, developing into the person that you were becoming.
Right.
Now they just don't know how to handle you. They don't know how to accept the fact that you can bring deliverance. You can bring vision where there was none before. You can bring hearing where there was none before. You can do things that they did not know how to do themselves. And here you are doing it. How is it that you're doing it? Not only are you younger than me, but you got this past. You did this when you was younger. You did that. And I know so much about what has happened in the past. I can't see you where you're headed, and I can't see you now. So that makes them unaffected or unaffected by the gift that you are to the world.
Right.
But they can't receive it while everybody else is like, oh, I see you. You doing it. Thank
would
you
think
for
they
letting
would be
me
the
see.
first ones to see it, especially if this is family. You've grown up with them. You would think they would be the first ones to see.
But guess what?
Your
They do see
potential.
it.
Your
They do see it.
oh man,
But they
that's so
forget that they
aggravating.
got the same DNA.
Right.
They
So
do
we
see
should
it.
both be winning. We should both be supporting each other.
Right.
If we, you know what I'm saying, sharing the same bloodline, what I got in me is the same that's been given to you. Like,
And when I make a come up, you coming up. I mean, that's just what it is.
They don't look at it like that.
They don't look at it like
but that is a good segue to what your topic. Oh,
Was that?
as far as status, you mentioned about women being princesses or queens, but it could also be prince and king for men. What was your question or your?
Where is the where is the princess if everyone is a queen? How do you get to become a queen? Because it almost seems like the princess level gets missed. Not that they don't exist. My daughter is a princess. However, there's so much focus right now on being a queen. It's assumed that every woman you see has really arrived at that queen mentality, and that's
them are
not the
princess.
case.
Not.
However, you don't see that part represented in social media.
Yeah.
You don't see it represented in our families. In fact, this conversation would say, you still ain't a queen as far as family is concerned. You still little Nick. You still little
princess.
Mark.
You still princess.
You still
Yeah.
little
Princess.
princess.
But
Princess.
okay. So then the first, like when you pose that question,
Quit talking about Prince Byron. Right.
when you pose that question, like my first thought was, I feel like most people equate queen with being married,
That too.
right?
Yeah, and
That too.
princess with a child. Or a
Exactly.
teenager.
And I don't feel like that's because you mentioned mindset. So it's not necessarily the physical being married or whatnot. It's definitely all about how you're thinking, how you're moving, how you're navigating through the world. And that goes with men as well, because not every man is a king either.
Definitely.
I feel like for me, and in my opinion, a princess is still learning. It's still in the learning phase. She's still trying to figure out the proper way to obtain respect
no matter how
for
old they are,
herself
right?
or from other people. She's still